Dublin with Martina at the EFIC conference 2022.
Yeah.
And Martina is the chairperson, or how do you
chairperson or chair.
Chair of Chronic Pain Ireland.
That's me.
Which is, well, maybe you should elaborate a bit on it.
Yeah, so we are, I'd say currently, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, the only national organisation in Ireland that supports people with chronic pain.
That's non-diagnosis specific, right?
Yeah, we don't care how you have the pain. We don't ask, you know. I suppose there's data regulations around that as well. So
yeah, probably.
We don't collect that information. It doesn't matter. What we focus on is helping you to self-manage your pain. So we would give talks and workshops on how to manage.
It sounds pretty much like our approach of my organization. We too are non-diagnosis specific, and we too strive to provide our members and patients in general, people living with chronic pain, the help or guidance to self-manage.
Yeah, and I think it's a really important part of it, because up until, I'd say 2 years, maybe 3, self-management wasn't something that the health service here focused on.
Okay.
You know, we have very few true multidisciplinary pain management teams in the country. So if you don't live near one of them, then you don't get a multidisciplinary team, so you don't get any education on how to self-manage.
That's actually an important topic, that the number of interdisciplinary clinics you have.
If you're in Dublin, you're obviously very lucky, Dublin being the capital. I know there's one in Sligo because I was just at a talk about it, and they cover the whole northwest coast all the way to Donegal, and they do it virtually as well, which is fascinating.
Yeah, that is actually a new approach, right? That could help some people, that because they live far from an interdisciplinary pain clinic, it's a lot of resources traveling back and forth, but also it could supply more people with treatment, because as we know, it's very expensive for the healthcare sector to provide interdisciplinary pain treatment.
Yes, and like I said, now it was a very short talk. They just presented what they had done, and they were actually working on it prior to COVID, which is great. You know, they saw the way forward, and I would hope that other centres can use this as a pilot and see that it can be well rolled out. Okay. But yes, they were saying that part of their remit covers an area that's, you know, a minimum of a 3-hour drive away. So that's quite extensive for people who haven't the ability to travel, who can't afford to travel.
That can be quite a challenge.
That can be quite a challenge, and we were hearing that as well in our self-management workshops, that obviously most of them were centred around Dublin for a time because that's where everybody was based, or we would go to where the transport links would take us.
Okay.
And we were always hearing, well, I live in this tiny little village near the coast on the west that are hard to get to, don't have great transport links. And, you know, the only way really to get all those people was to go online. And luckily, or unluckily I suppose, when it just coincided with COVID. So we went online at the start of COVID. You know, we run a peer support group now online, and we get people from all over the country. And we've been running talks online as well, and we're getting great responses. We're getting much better numbers.
Yeah, that's actually like COVID actually facilitated some of our organizations to try be more active online. You know, my own organization, FACS, the Danish Association of Chronic Pain Afflicted and Relatives, we too started a much more online approach. Also, like yourself, having online seminars, and definitely we reach people that we wouldn't be able to do before.
Absolutely, and you know yourself with chronic pain, you might register for an event such as these here today, and we're lucky that the EFIC conference is being recorded, so if we can't go, we can watch it later. But, you know, you get to a point in the day and you go, I just can't do it anymore, and you go home. Well, prior to anything being recorded or going online, you missed everything.
Yeah.
And now those people can stay in bed.
Yeah.
You know, and I have had talks where I've been in bed, you know, and I'm the host, and there's been other people in bed, and everyone's apologizing, oh, I'm in my pajamas, or oh, you know, I have to stay in bed, and you're like, it's fine, you know, this is why we're here, you know.
But I think this is actually a very valid or important thing to highlight, that us two sitting here, even though we represent organizations and might appear resourceful, we too have challenges with pain and resources during this conference here, and we have various strategies to combat this, right? Like whenever we turn off this camera, I will go lie down, and you will drive back home and relax, right?
Yeah, I'll admit that the last 2 nights when I went back to my hotel, I'm getting taxis everywhere because I'm just too tired. I fell asleep at 6:30.
Yeah.
And I planned that. I planned my bigger meals here during the day so that I could just go home and go to sleep. And I didn't drive because it's a 3-hour drive from here to where I'm going. And I'm going to get the train and I'll sleep on the train.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's all centered around, you know, come up the night before, go home today because it's a longer day, but I don't have anything to do tomorrow. I can rest all day tomorrow. And all that had been planned into the surrounding days.
I think that a lot of people listening to this will recognize the same issues, you know, having to do a lot of planning. You need to plan in order to be free and in order to function, right? But if you are too much in the head trying to control everything, that can also be a negative thing, right?
It can diminish your experience, definitely.
Yes.
You know, when I was packing, you know, I do all the usual clothes, shoes, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm looking at my medication, you know, and the stack of medication that has to come with me.
Yeah.
We have to admit it, you know, we have to. How much extra might I need?
Martina has just noticed that I'm not wearing any shoes.
And wishes she could do the same.